What's up, everybody? It's AJ, and welcome back to this week's episode, right? Today, we're going to be talking about how to think rich, right? Because a lot of people in life are striving for financial independence. They're striving for freedom, right? But a lot of people don't know how to get it. So this episode is going to give you ideas on how to create enough value to create the life that we dream of, right? First thing is, do you like math? Do you like math? I know for many of us, we were in, first, second, third grade, fourth grade, we're learning math, we're learning trigonometry and, geometry. And we're like, why do we have to learn this? Why? Right? And I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show you why math is directly related to what your income is going to be. And the reason why, some people end up being millionaires, some people end up being billionaires. The reason why they end up doing that is because they're using a different equation than most people are. Let me ask you, what's 10,000 plus 10,000? Pretty easy, right? 20,000. Pretty easy, right? What's 10,000 times 10,000? A little bit harder, right? It's a little bit harder than 10,000 plus 10,000. It's actually 100 million. 100 million. Now, our brains automatically go to addition. We go to addition because it's easier. It's easier for our brain to grasp how to add than to multiply. It's less mental effort to add than to multiply. So when it comes to our jobs and creating value, that's simply what we do, right? So I know when I first started out, I had a job and I said, you know what, if I get my real estate license and I do real estate on the side, then I'll have two jobs. I'll make more money, but I'll have two jobs. What was I doing? I was adding a job. I had a job, I added another job, therefore I was creating more value, right? Or some people add by subtraction, right? Let me get a new job that pays more to replace this job. And that's how most people go about creating value for their life. Maybe I'll get a promotion, maybe I'll get a new job, maybe I'll have to get a second job. That's fine, but it's not a way to get rich, right? The difference between, the average person and a millionaire is that millionaires multiply. They do not add, they multiply. And I'm going to show you how to multiply, right? If you ever heard of Grant Cardone, he came up with the 10x rule. 10x means 10 times. 10 times your thinking. What he's really showing us is how to multiply, right? And millionaires multiply. I'll show you how. $1 from 1 million people equals $1 million. So how can you get $1 from 1 million people? If you asked enough people, you could probably, you probably don't even have to give them anything. Hey, can I get $1? Can I get $1? Can I get $1? If you asked enough people, could you become a millionaire that way? Eventually, yes. Will it take a very long time? Yes, it will. But is it totally possible to get $1 from 1 million people? Now, if you get $5 from 200,000 people, that's also $1 million, right? So it's $5 times 200,000 people equals that $1 million mark. Here's another way to multiply to get to $1 million. $10 times 100,000 people. Or $100 times 10,000 people. Now, when you think about it today, we live in a world of 7.6 billion people. 7.6 billion people, somewhere around there. Could you sell a product for $100 to 10,000? Can you find 10,000 people to sell to? There's 330 million people in the United States alone. Can you find 10,000 people to sell a product for $100. I can make a course, sell the course for $100. Could I get 10,000 people to buy it? Maybe. And that's the road to $1 million. And that's why millionaires know how to multiply, right? They view it as multiplication instead of addition. That's the difference between the average person and a millionaire, right? What's the difference between a millionaire and a billionaire? What's the difference? Billionaires do not just multiply. They think exponentially, right? When we were learning about math, think about exponents, right? 2 to the third power. You're multiplying several times. You're not just multiplying once, you're multiplying several times. And that's what billionaires know how to do. That's how you can create billions of dollars worth of value. I'll show you. If I get $1 from 1 million people once a month, if I can create $1 worth of value, what can I create that's $1 worth of value per month? And I could get 1 million people to sign up, you're now making $12 million a year. $12 million a year. If I get $10, if I create $10 worth of value once a month, right? Look at Facebook, right? Or Twitter, right? Twitter says, I'm going to have $15 once a month fee, for you to get the blue check mark so you could get verified, right? Maybe let's say it was $10. It's about 15, but let's say it was $10. If I get 1 million people to do that, times it by the 12 months, once a month, that's $120 million per year. When we think of the number $120 million, it's insane. We can't even fathom it. But all you need to do is create $10 worth of value and get it in the hands of 1 million people and have them pay you $10 once a month. I'm making it sound easy, right? It's not as easy as I'm making it, but it changes your thinking, right? Because now we ask ourselves the wrong questions, right? We say, how can I make more money? Well, I'll get a job. I'll do some Uber on the side, This is the question you need to be asking. How can I create exponential, right? How can I create something exponential that can make me $120 million? Don't waste your time trying to find a second job to do this and that. Build a dream that could get you $120 million. Here's another example. This is going exponential even more, right? So it's the same, $10 per month for 1 million people times 12 months. But now let's say I have 3 companies. I don't have just one company, right? Because we know all these billionaires, they don't own just one company, right? Elon Musk, he owns Twitter, Tesla, SpaceX, Amazon. They bought the Ring doorbell. They just bought iRobot, the vacuum cleaner. Apple owns a bunch of companies. Facebook owns, Meta owns Facebook. They own the virtual reality, the Oculus. They all have different companies, right? So now, if you figure out a way to make $10 from 1 million people once a month, can you figure out how to do it again and again? Of course. Once you figure it out the first time, second time's easier, third time's easiest. So now you're making $360 million a year. In 3 years, you will be a billionaire. A billionaire. But it's not how people think. It's not how people think. Most people get stuck in addition. We get stuck in addition mode, right? Let me add another job. Let me trade my job for a higher paying job, right? Millionaires multiply. They multiply once, right? How can I get $1 from 1 million people? $1 million bucks. But billionaires, exponential. The more times you can get yourself to multiply, the more wealthy you will be. This is how to create value. So now we need to ask ourselves the right questions. We need to ask, how can you create $10 worth of value per month? How can you create $1 worth of value per month and get it in the hands of 1 million people? You're not going to get 1 million people overnight, but like I said in the last video, we are more powerful than ever. We are more connected than ever. Right? So that means this opportunity to make billions of dollars, millions and billions and hundreds of millions, this opportunity to do that has never been easier than right now. It has never been easier than right now. So if you're sitting there thinking that it's not possible for you, why not? Why not? Why is it not possible for you? It's possible for other people who had absolutely nothing. Nothing. People started with nothing. And they made billions of dollars worth of fortune. So we can too. We can too. Right? But we need to change our thinking. We need to change from addition to multiplication to thinking exponentially. And if you think exponentially and you start believing in it and you go after it, you can make it happen. You can find somebody else to believe in your dream and make it happen. All right? So that's all I got for today. Right? Start thinking exponentially and you're on your way to living a life of financial freedom, living a life that you dream of, being able to spend the time with the people that you love, spending time outside, enjoying the sunshine and not feeling like a prisoner sitting there at your desk, staring out the window, wanting to explore a life that seems unattainable, because it is attainable. All right? You guys get out of here. I'll catch you on the next video.